Hello, readers and writers, and welcome to lesson 38 of your ELA School Away from School. I'm Mr. Driver, and I'll be your virtual teacher for today's daily lesson. Let's go ahead and start with some guiding questions, probably very familiar to you. What journey does food take before it gets to your plate? How do we make decisions about what we eat? Remember, we'll continue addressing these questions through all of our work today. And think again, once again, how it applies to this week's article. So as we think about the journey our food takes before it gets to your plate, think about sustainable food. Think about, is it sustainable? How do we make decisions about what we eat? The more that we learn about sustainability and about what is sustainable, what's not, is it important? Is it something we should consider when we make purchases for food? Okay, go ahead and get some materials out for today's lesson. You're going to need your copy of the text, What is Sustainability? The lesson number 38, writing activity, as well as a pencil. Go ahead and take a brief moment to find these supplies, and we'll go ahead and get started. We have one learning target for today. Let's make sure we keep this learning target in mind during all of our hard work today. I can report on a topic with appropriate facts and details, speaking clearly at an understandable pace. The reason why we have this learning target is by the end, which is coming up not too far from here, by the very last week, we are going to have a chance to report on this topic. We're going to have to find facts and details from all of the articles that we've been reading, and we're going to have a chance to speak clearly and use, of course, making sure that we are speaking fluent, clearly and at an understandable pace in front of an audience, whether it's going to be someone in your family or a friend or somebody over the phone if needed. So thinking about this learning target, just kind of giving that heads up that we're going to continue looking at it on this day, the writing activity day 5 of the week, but we are going to be using it in our last week. So first we'll be rereading the article, What is Sustainability? As you read along with a family member, caregiver, or friend, consider replaying and listening to the text read aloud from lesson 34. Pause the video here while you return to your reading. Now that you've had a chance to look at the text, I want you to think about a few things. What does this article make you wonder about? Ask a question that would encourage future investigation of this topic or process. So, for example, if there's something in the article of course, what is sustainability, but if there's something that talks about social justice or something else, or about why it's important, or about global warming, or about this or that, climate change, you might want to think about something in the article that would encourage you to possibly look something up, future investigation of that topic or something in the topic. Explain why this question is interesting or important. So you're asking a question, and then you just have to defend why you think this question is interesting. So once you kind of go back into the text, reread maybe some subsections, think about something that stands out to you as interesting, but you don't know everything about it. And then think about a question, maybe is, what does this mean? Using the words from the text. And then, of course, thinking about why this question is interesting or important. Okay, go ahead and pause as needed. Now it's time to have that discussion with your family member, caregiver, or friend. What does this article make you wonder about? Ask a question that would encourage future investigation of this topic or process. Think about what we just mentioned with the think aloud. So of course, anything that stands out to you, just share a word or possibly a phrase or something within a section, and explain why this section is interesting or important. So think about a question you can ask, and then why is that question important? Go ahead and pause the video here while you discuss this with a family member, caregiver, or friend. Please take out lesson 38 writing activity sheet. Using the article, What is Sustainability? Investigate. What does this article make you wonder about? Ask a question that would encourage future investigation of this topic or process. Explain why this question is interesting or important. Write 3 to 4 sentences that help support this question. So 3 to 4 sentences are coming from the article. I'm sorry, but the 3 to 4 sentences, you want to find details from the article that you can use in that support. So support those answers with supporting details from the text. Go ahead and pause the video here while you complete this work. Time to wrap up today's lesson and the week's worth of lessons. Let's think about how you did with our learning target. I can report on the topic with appropriate facts and details, speaking clearly at an understandable pace. So if all you did was write down, that's okay. You'll have a chance to share out in a moment. As a closing, you're going to share your answers and what you wrote, and choose explain why you wrote what you did. So make sure when you are sharing that aloud, maybe you're reading it from a piece of paper, but you want to speak clearly. You want to speak at a reasonable pace, not too fast, not too slow. And you want to make sure that you report the facts and details coming from the article that can best support why you came up with that question. So go ahead and do that. Also, read a book today for 20 minutes. You can also read with a family member, caregiver, or friend, or have them read aloud as necessary. Show off your reading fluency. So you're going to read the passage aloud one last time to a parent, caregiver, or friend. Remember, we want to continue thinking about how we can read aloud, not going too fast, not going too slow, but also clearly making sure that we say it loud enough, of course, at a reasonable pace. So congratulations on completing another week's worth of lessons. Next week, we will read a new article and explore that same question or the same questions about the food and the journey our food takes and how we make decisions about what we eat. So excited about this. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great weekend.